Herkese merhaba. Geçen bölüm yabani çamların lideriyle konuşmuştuk. Burada duran kadın. Eee, ve bu konuyu kimle konuşup değerlendirecektik. Onu aradan çıkartalım.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, detective.
Yani nasıl gideceğini umuyordum.
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchman.
Ya şimdi uşak mı olduk?
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played...
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
Yani şöyle bir şey. Kimliğimizi White Pines'ın bu yabani çamların müdürü biliyor. Sendika'nın müdürü de silahımızı nerede olduğunu biliyor. Yani ikisi de bizi şantaj yapmanın derdinde. Kendi taraflarını çekmeye çalışıyorlar. Şirketin her yerde kulağı olmalı.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional after all.
Yani teklifi kafasında kurduğu planın bir parçasıydı muhtemelen. Diğer her şey gibi.
Yes. Knowing this does not really change our position, however.
Senin önerin nedir? Uyuşturucu ticaretini araştırmayalım mı?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Doğrudan polis kimliğimi de arayıp bulabiliriz.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate.
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
Tamam, ona tekrar uğrayalım öyleyse.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
Yani öyle bir yağmurluk işime yarayabilir.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy. What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
Tamam, bu uyuşturucu kaçakçılığından bahset.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Ya şunu bir netleştirelim. Ham maddeler Samar'dan Revachol'a terminal aracılığıyla mı geliyor?
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
Ha, siz de bizim soruşturmamızı istiyorsunuz.
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Kamyonlar.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they are vulnerable.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
Tamam, neden daha önce bu konuyu polise taşımadın?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
Kamyonların yolda bu şekilde kalmış olması tesadüf değil, öyle değil mi?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open the drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Sendikanın bu işe dahil olduğuna dair ne kanıtınız var?
How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the fourth month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
Haraç kesmişler.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
Yani grevin uyuşturucu ham maddeleriyle finanse edildiğini mi düşünüyorsunuz?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, though she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in.
Tamam, sürücülerden birinin linç sırasında olay yerinde bulunduğuna dair şüphelerimiz var.
The two might even be connected.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it.
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done.
Tamam. Kaçakçılık soruşturması hakkında kararımı verdim.
Yes?
Bu soruşturmayı üstlenip sürücüleri sorgulayacağız. Ne çıkacak bir bakalım.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Tamam, şu dövmeler hakkında bir şeyler öğrenelim.
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
Yani dövmelerle ilgili bir şey bilmiyor musun?
Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
Okay.
This
Yes, reality is an experimental side case.
Kişisel bir soruşturma yürütüyorum.
How truly curious. A sort of philosopher detective.
Are they now?
A deep synthesis. I'll assist you however I can then. Go ahead. Ask.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Tamam, neredeyiz biz?
We're in Martinez, baby.
Kuzum mu?
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
Hadi diskodan kalmayı.
Aren't we all?
She refers to your corresponding ages.
Martinez nedir?
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Tamam, bana Martinez'ten biraz daha bahset.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
Tamam, bir denizden bahsettiniz. Ne denizi bu?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean.
Okyanusa yakın mıyız?
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the Blue Immensities.
Bu adanın adı ne?
Caillou, as you already know.
Kayu mu?
Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch. The Martinez
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value and to humanity at large.
Pekala, Martinez tamam. Revachol nedir?
Revachol? Revachol is what
Ne
you
tarz
call
bir şey?
the great kind.
Büyük yapan şey ne?
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
Kim inşa etti?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed.
Ne zaman inşa edildi?
In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago.
Peki neden tarihi çözüme ulaştıracak?
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men.
Okey de neden burası?
We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
Ha, yani önemli bir yerin önemsiz bir yer kısmında mıyız?
I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Denize doğru bakıyorum.
Silence. She loved the water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
Biz neredeyiz?
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
Haklısın Teğmen, daha sonra devam edelim.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
Peki nasıl zamanlardayız?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. A thousandth of a second too late.
Ne için fazla geç?
For the big time.
Büyük dava ne?
The revolution.
Ha. Tamam, devrim ne ya? Daha önce de duyduk biz bunu.
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Yani bir avuç maymun didişiyordu diyebiliriz.
Why, of course. We're talking Duke Out Central. Full swing intraspecies warfare.
Bir dakika, şu şeye bakacağım. Bundan güzel bir şey çıkar mı? Çünkü şunu unutup onu bassak. Üstün ırk unutuyorum. James Wu'yu içselleştirelim. İyi, gerçekleri öğreniyoruz şu an. Peki onlar kötü maymunlar mıydı?
No, I would say the apes were neutral.
Bana kötü gibi geldi.
On the other hand, maybe you're right.
Kafasından vurulanlar kimdi?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all... Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Peki onlar direnmedi mi?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Tam bir koz.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Ben de bir tufan yaşadım kafamın içinde.
Yes, an acute thiamine deficiency can be exacerbated by alcoholism. Exacerbated means made worse.
Kafasına vurulanlar, vurulan başkaları oldu mu karşı
Oh, lots
taraftan?
of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Akıllı kralmış.
Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Maden haklarını kim aldı?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Peki liberaller dediğiniz?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective, or the remaining gentry, the beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
Liberaller her şeyi nasıl kazandı?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
She's one of them. Of course.
Herkes vurulduysa teslim olunacak kim kaldı?
To foreign intervention, the coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Az önce liberaller her şeyi aldı demiştin.
The Liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The Coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
Koalisyon kim?
The Coalition of Nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay, the armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
Merkezci mi?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
Ha, lordur bu ya. Güzel gidiyor.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
Ya ben merkezci olduğumu sanmıyorum ya.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
Tamam, bu hengame ne zamandı?
Turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Kim başlattı?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government.
Bu tızırat nasıl etki ediyordu?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
It was a funny time in history. They discovered transistors and rock music, but they didn't know anything about prions. Nobody did.
Oradan nereye yayıldı?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
Ya sonra?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Denetim bölgesi nedir?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations, and you, of course, the citizens' militia. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
Dünyanın diğer kısımlarında neler oldu?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
Ha.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Yani 43 yıldır bu halde.
Time flies.
Bunca zamandır ne yapıyorduk?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell.
Peki ya
The
sonrası?
30s. Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Gidiyor muydu peki?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Yani evet. White Pines grubu hangi taraftaydı deyip bu düşünceyi tasdikleyelim.
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
Akıllıca bir seçim yapmışlar.
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
Kralın tarafını mı tutardınız?
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
Tamam, sen olsaydın başka neyi başka türlü yapardın?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
İyi, önce ben sordum.
And I asked you. Past less detective of the citizens' militia. What insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Tıbbi çözüm arardım ya.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago?
Yani hijyen, mütevazi sosyal hizmetler ve belki biraz da araştırma programı ve yakalanmamak.
Good hygiene. Really. A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Grad. When they failed to step up, Mazov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
Evet.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
Bu zamanlar hakkında konuştuğumuz yeter.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
Yani sizin ne olduğunuzu bilmek istiyorum. Siz nesiniz?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
Koyu ne demek?
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind.
Dios mio, liberal.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a ship wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist, no? Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself.
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her. But only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
Yani hainlere direktman canavar kafasıyla bakmak istiyorum ben ya.
That's a pity. I hope we can remain collegial despite it. Remember, we were partners, whether you like to admit it or not. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, They were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Siz farklı bir şey yapar mıydınız?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Akıllı bir kadınsın.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
Ben de öyleyim.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time.
Vatansever misin?
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
Kızlarınız mı var?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
Bu ne?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Tahmin yürütmeye devam edin.
Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris and decay. Half submerged in some salty sea.
Benim harap olduğumu mu söylüyorsun?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
Bu yer neresi demek istemiştim.
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
Ne yani?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Orada kimler yaşıyordu?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat. Wonderful.
Yani o kim?
The girl in the old lady rags.
Aynen.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Alt kültür mü?
Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Aynı şeyi bir çocuğa anlatır gibi anlatın.
Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating.
Neden? Yeni nesil şey mi oldu senin için ya? Alt kültür mü yani? Aşağılık kültür muamelesi çekiyor bu arada yeni nesile.
All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
Ben alt kültüre aidim ya.
And what would that be?
Polis alt kültürü.
She lets out an unrestrained laugh, the crow's feet stretching onto you.
My reality-impaired colleague is not so far off. Many of the RCM's fashions, even weapon preferences, borrow heavily from classic Vespertine cop shows. My precinct alone has 3 officers who go by the name Ace. But please, do continue this reality exploration. I was just remarking.
Yes, let's.
Şimdilik hepsi bu kadar.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know.
Teşekkür
Of course,
ederim.
detective.
Bir otosave alıyorum.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate,
Yok.
political opinions. Of course, a radical centrist. In these bright and loud times where 1,000 frequencies drown one another, it's time to become a citizen of the kingdom of
Öncelikle
conscience.
neresi bu tarafsız krallık?
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's
Tamam.
only been achieved a handful of times.
Bu şartlar nasıl ortaya çıkıyor?
Increment. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually,
Peki ya
increment
şimdi
by increment.
ters giden bütün şeyler ne olacak?
Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the kingdom of conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What sang-froid?
Tarafsız krallık bir şeyler yapmakla mı yoksa statükoyu korumakla mı ilgili?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
Ya evet.
There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress.
Peki ya tarafsız krallık neye benziyor?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, it's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Tamam, bunu düşüneceğiz.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
Er ya da geç gidelim.
That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time.
Bu tarafsız krallık benim hoşuma gitti ya. Bir kez daha bir okuyalım tarafsız krallığı. Dertten kırış kırış olan alnına düşen kar taneleri artık daha yumuşak, yağmur damlaları da artık daha ılık. Bu idari bölgeye demokrasi geliyor. Doloresçe hümanizmin idealleri diriliyor. Nasıl dirilmesinler? Koalisyon ve enternasyonel merkezcilerin ideallerinden bahsediyoruz. Bunlar masmavi insanlar. Üstelik sadece iyi değiller, aynı zamanda güçlüdürler. Güçlüler de. İncelikli planları gerçekleştiğinde neler olacak acaba? İçselleştireceğim bunu da. Şehrin fısıltısını arttıralım ya, arttıralım. Bir tane daha arttırıyorum şehrin fısıltısını. Kabul edelim.
You're back. Good. More lessons in basic reality? My
Şimdi
favorite part of the day. Go ahead. Ask me anything.
veri tabanına erişim sağlayabiliyorum. Koalisyondan geliyor. Kim bilgilendirmesi yapıldı. Polis alt kültürüne aidim. Okey ya, ben bunu başarırım bence.
6 kilometers
Evet,
southwest
işte bu.
in the Valley of Dogs. Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil. We always do."
Ha,
You?
değil.
You're an officer of the RCM.
Evet. Revachol Halk Milisleri.
Preciso mundo.
Tamam, peki Revachol Halk Milisleri ne? Revachol diye mi okunuyordu? Ondan da emin değilim ama neyse.
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He's being sarcastic.
Öyle miyiz?
We are.
Fiili mi demiştiniz?
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
Nasıl yani?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, three pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All three are good to know when we are out policing.
Yani basitçe söylersek sermayenin uşağı mıyım?
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear,
Neden?
the post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Evet, teşekkürler hanımefendi.
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens.
He's being sarcastic.
Yes, that means not. Permit me. And if those authorities
Oh.
drink so hard they need help recalling the basic. Glad to have been of assistance.
O zaman uzun uzun burada konuştuk bu kadınla. Bu bölüm ne yaptık? Bu bölüm lore öğrendik. Full lore öğrendik. Gerçekleri öğrendik. Yani dünyanın, evrenin gerçeklerini öğrendik. O şekilde sonraki bölümlerde görüşmek üzere.